18 months ago, I got involved in the Royal Enfield Riders Club in New Zealand and was appointed Wanganui organiser about 3 months later, because I'd started organising people get together to enjoy the social aspects of owning a Royal Enfield. I'd had a lot of experience with other clubs over the decades, but Royal Enfield's really special. The company is the oldest motorcycle company in the world, starting production in 1901, and they've been in continuous production since. Back in 1970, the company stopped in the UK, but production had already started in 1955 in India, making bikes for the Indian Army. And that company just carried on, and of course today they are one of the key players in the global motorcycle world, not just producing retro classics, but modern adventure bikes and medium weight cruisers. And in New Zealand, the numbers continue to grow. When we started in Wanganui, there was only 4 local members, and we now have 24, including the Rangitikei area. So the idea of the Royal Enfield Day in Wanganui came about a year ago when I was recovering from some health issues, but I couldn't get out and do any rides around the country or go to rallies. So I thought, well, let's just have a day in Wanganui where we get together. We start out at the old Coleman's showroom that was opened in 1935, and we'll just have a ride up the River Road to Okuni for lunch. And of course it's grown in concept a little bit, and also the participation level has doubled from its initial beginning. One of the key things about the Red Eye Cafe in Guyton Street is that in 1925 the famous Percy Coleman opened a motorbike shop there. It was actually a Harley Davidson dealership to start with, but after a trip to England as New Zealand's first official Isle of Man competitor representing New Zealand, Percy Coleman came back to New Zealand with the Royal Enfield distribution for the country. So 1930 is the official date when Royal Enfield became a brand in New Zealand. And they were not easy times during the 30s. After the war, the company in England at Redditch recalled the huge stock of parts that Coleman's had on consignment, because they needed every single item to help put bikes together to sell overseas. So we use the Red Eye as a regular meeting place, and that's where we start the Wanganui River Ride. So we go up the it's an amazing road. It's so scenic, it's full of history. It's sealed now, it's very narrow, and we came across sheep, cattle on the side of the road. In fact, it was a big bull. And we even had a goat jump out off one of the banks and nearly hit one of the riders as we made the climb up from Pipariki to Ratahi. But it was just such a magic day yesterday. There were riders from all over the North Island who had never ever been on the road, and they were just blown away by the atmosphere, the countryside. We even stopped at Matahiwi Gallery, and honestly, it was so warm there and so nice, and the people so great that a lot of guys would have been happy to stay there for the day and then just gone back to town for tea. But we went on to Okuni because we had a member from Taupo, Nick, ride down on his military classic 500, and what a stunning machine. And I guess that's one of the things that captivates so many people today about Royal Enfield, is that they are a great looking machine, but they have all the modern features. Electric start, fuel injection, ABS brakes, You know, they're not heavy machines, they're reasonably lightweight, and you know, while some of them might be a bit soft on power, the 650s are great all-rounders, great touring machines. And you know, there was over 25 of them on the ride yesterday out of the 42 bikes. So we had an absolutely real blast. I mean, Okuni, I had sandflies bouncing around on my hand while I was trying to have lunch. It was that warm up there. And I mean, usually this time of year there is snow around, but it's quite icy and chilly with the breeze. But yesterday was just the perfect day. People had a great ride back down the Paraparas, which, you know, when you combine the River Road and the Paraparas, it's got to be one of the top 10 motorcycle rides in New Zealand as a loop ride. We headed back down to St Hill Street, and we parked all the machines up on, you know, had some judging for some certificates for some of the riders, and the furthest travelled rider was Neil from our area organiser from Rotorua, and he'd ridden 342k the previous day on his 650 Interceptor. So yeah, we had some prize giving, and then just under 20 of us gathered for dinner that evening at the Brick House. And it was just, I guess for me, it's not just the machines, but it's the special people that ride Royal Enfields that come from all walks of life. You know, we've got retired guys like myself, and we've got senior people who are, well, in their 70s. I think there was someone that was nearly 80 on the ride yesterday, and he was certainly not mucking around. Many of the 650s couldn't catch him. Oh, actually, I'm not supposed to talk about that. Yeah, we had a great time, and I guess, you know, as you get into your latter years, you have to think about your health and the fact that you can't ride forever. So you might as well get out there and do as much of it while you've got your fitness and health. What is also great about this brand is it's bringing a lot of young people and new people to motorcycling, and returning riders, both male and female. You know, there were 4 women on the ride yesterday out of the 42 riders, and they were having a blast. So yeah, just go out and buy a Royal Enfield and come join us.